TaxAct knows filing taxes can be confusing, so we have live experts on hand who can help answer any questions you may have. Questions like, can I claim my SUV as my home office if I answer work emails in my car? If I adopted 12 dogs this year, can I list them as dependents? And, am I doing this right, or am I doing this very, very wrong? Our experts have the answers to those questions and many others. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm a white-collar worker. When a white-collar worker is out of work, they try anything.
Yeah, I know, but usually what the white-collar worker and or blue-collar worker is trying to do is to get some green to pay for food.
This is the plaintiff, Alan Shapiro. He says he was hired by the defendant at his junkyard, was promised a stable salary, and then the louse stopped paying him right out of the clear blue sky. One day, the defendant even tried paying him with a 5-gallon can of gasoline for his car, but the snake filled it with water instead. The guy's as underhanded as they come, and he's suing him here and now for the $2,318.53 he's owed. This is the defendant, James Morrow. He says he hired the plaintiff to do sales for him, but soon realized he wasn't in the right state of mind for that kind of work. So to be a nice guy, he kept him around anyway to do odd jobs for him. Nice guys finish last because he caught the plaintiff trying to steal gas, but luckily there was only water in the can. They ended up getting into a fist fight. The cops were called, and now the guy's suing him? Good luck, pal. He's accused of being a horrible boss. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $650 for items the plaintiff never returned.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
For me. Alan Shapiro, you are suing James Morrow for $2,318.53 that you say he owes you for lost wages, damages to your car, and various and sundry other things you say are his fault. You're counterclaiming against him $650 for stolen gas, vitamins, liquor, and some returns. I cannot wait. Tell me all about it. What's going on?
The beginning of July 2012, I
have a
answered
question. I'm sorry. I normally like to see the whites of my litigants' eyes. You have tinted lenses on. Are they prescription?
Say it again?
I normally like to see the whites of my litigants. No, but that's all right. If they're prescription and you need them, you can keep them on. Okay.
Around the beginning of July, I answered an ad in the paper for a full-time driver's position, paying $1,000 a week, and to drive old cars, scrap cars, used cars that people don't want, based on me putting flyers on cars either in the driveway with no license plate on it, and people would call the defendant and say, pick up the car, and I would drive the car to either a scrap place, to melt it.
He's going to pay you $1,000 a week for that?
$1,000 a week.
Okay, do you have the ad? Because he's chuckling while you're saying it.
I don't have the ad.
Okay.
And
so he had an ad for a driver wanted, and then when you walk into interview,
I had an interview. He said that's what he would pay me.
$1,000 a week.
Yes, but he never paid.
Okay.
Right.
So now what happens?
Over a period of time.
How long did you work for him?
3 months. Over a
For
period.
the 3 months, were you getting $1,000 a week?
No, he never paid me. What he would do periodically would give me a 5-gallon can of gas for my car because I was using my car back and forth.
I'm sorry. You worked for a guy who didn't pay you for 3 months?
Right.
For gas?
Right. Well,
for gas crumbs off a table?
I'm a white-collar worker. When a white-collar worker is out of work, they try anything.
Yeah, I know, but usually what the
Stupidly.
white-collar worker and or blue-collar worker is trying to do is to get some green to pay for food. So I don't understand why you would keep working if you're not getting the green. That's part. What you're trying to do is get paid. So if you're working for a guy who's supposed to pay you $1,000 and on day 5 doesn't, why would you work there again the next week?
It was a very interesting job. He told me, his words, that he had a very lucrative business and that he would make everything up to me in salary. One day, he gave me a 5-gallon can of gas for my car.
What's that worth? Can you listen to me? You need to act like you're older than 10 years old because you're acting like a 10-year-old boy.
Sorry, no,
you keep fidgeting, moving stuff, pacing back and forth. Now you're going, every time the guy talks. You have to stop. You're in court and use a little bit of adult decorum. Okay, go ahead. That shouldn't need saying. Go ahead.
One day he gave me a 5-gallon can.
What's that worth?
Gallon gas.
What's that worth?
Of water.
No, we're going to get to the water in a second. What is a 5-gallon can of gas worth?
$20
That's
times
right.
4.
So that's not exactly the $1,000 that you claim you're supposed to be being paid every week.
But I missed that whole week's work because my car was in the shop.
The whole week of working to get zero?
That's right. But I would have gotten paid.
You would have gotten paid what?
The $1,000.
But you didn't get paid the $1,000 any of the other times. Why were you hoping for it this time?
There's no other.
You make no sense. You're killing me. Now, what is this guy employed by you to do?
First, I was employing him to do sales.
Which is the thing he described.
Yes. And he would tell me he'd be out there, but when he was calling me, he was at the library. He wasn't even working, really, most of the time. But I still, every day I gave him, $50 for, doing some kind of work, whatever he did. He was more like a gopher type of guy.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't really doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Okay.
But he kept begging me for his job. So I said, you know what?
So what would you do? Pay him daily? Just put your hand down.
Just to do some running around for me.
How often would you pay him?
I paid him every day, $50 for just running around because he wasn't doing his job.
Put your hand down.
He was only working a couple of hours a day. That's all he was working. So I felt bad for the guy because he kept begging me for the job. I said, listen, you really can't do what I need you for, but you know what? You could do errands for me, run around, do some errands, and I'll keep you on for that. So I was keeping him on for the errands and stuff, and then I paid him.
For 3 months?
I kept him for errands, for 3 months.
Wait, but what about in the beginning?
I knew he couldn't do the job.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Did you ever agree to pay him $1,000 a week?
Never.
What was your original agreement before you discovered he couldn't do the job? What was your original agreement with him?
The original agreement was he would be working 8 hours a day and be get $100 a day. And he said, yeah, that's fine. I need the money. I said, okay. Then I'm finding that he's stealing gas from me.
How did you find out he was stealing gas from you?
The plaintiff says he worked at the defendant's junkyard and got stiffed in the salary department. He says the defendant had the audacity to pay him with a 5-gallon can of gas. The defendant says the plaintiff was actually a gas thief. Let's listen.
I had these 5-gallon gas cans, and during the hurricane, I had about 7 of them. And I was giving people them for their generators, friends of mine. They would ask me, you have some? I said, yeah. He went online and got the gas for me and also filled up my car. So like I said, he did errands. So all of a sudden, I look outside the door, he's putting gas in his car without even asking me. I said, what are you doing? I don't know. I called him a piece of because, first of all, he dropped off my 2 dogs, and he stole the tip money from the groomer. He stole it, and the guy called me and said he had it on camera. They stole the $30.
How did he steal it from the groomer on camera?
A tip basket. They usually have a tip basket.
Oh, you mean not your tip money, but just random tip money?
Yeah, and I did business with this guy. And I'm saying, this looks really bad. What are you doing? So.
Did he get arrested for that?
No, what happened was the guy said, just let it go. I felt he's a little, So I said, you know what, let it go, and that's it. We're going to be done with. So then the next day, I didn't even know he's at my house. He's putting gas in the car. And I was saying, what are you doing, man? Are you kidding me? Get I won't say what I said. Get away from my house now. And then when I told him to get away from my house, I said, move. And he wouldn't come off my property. Actually, he swung at me. Believe it or not, he swung at me. I was so upset.
I'm having a hard time believing it, but
I was stunned. So I pushed him away from me. He landed on top of the Altima in my driveway. And he calls the
Whose
cop.
car is the Altima?
The car was one of my scrap cars.
Okay.
But the point of the matter is this. He called the cops on me.
So what was it that he had poured into his car?
He was being greedy. He put 4 or 5 gallons in his car. Then he took an antifreeze bottle that had water in it, and he put it in the car.
Would these bottles look like what?
Gas container, big gas container.
Had you ever given him permission to take the gas?
Never.
Any other time had you?
I would give him permission. That's different. I didn't give permission at the time.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you then. There have been prior times where he's been able to take the gas?
Yes, with my permission.
Okay, but this was not one of those times?
No, this is the time I was firing him.
Say it again?
This was at the moment I was firing him because of what he did with the dog grooming place. He came back the next day.
The next day, and
he knew
he's
where the
taking
gas
your
was.
gas. He knew where the gas was, so he was taking your gas.
I looked
so
out
that's
the
why you
window.
were mad.
I had cameras.
Are you sure you didn't put water in one of those gas tanks just in case he came
why
back?
would I do that? No, I would never do something like that.
Well, why are you nodding?
No.
Because you think that's what he did? Because he was angry at you?
No,
his black Grand Cherokee SUV and said, take that 5-gallon can of gas, put it in your car. I didn't. It was late.
Wait, when is he telling you this? Because he says he fired you because you stole the tip money from the groomer.
On October 5th.
Was that after or before you stole the tip money from the groomer?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. I don't know where he gets this from.
Did you stop and listen to me? Did he ever bring up to you that the groomer called and says they have you on camera stealing tip money?
No.
This is the first you've ever heard that?
No, he told me that once before.
He did.
Because he knew that I was going to pursue further that he was not
when
paying me.
When did he tell you that? Is that the reason he fired you, the groomer?
Prior to November 8th.
Did he use this as the excuse to fire you, the groomer thing?
No.
He had already fired you or he hadn't fired you yet?
Well, he never really said you're fired, but I knew the job was over when he pushed me to the ground.
Okay,
he
but
swung at me.
Why did he push you to the? Nobody has a justification for pushing you to the ground. But I want to know why.
Asking for the $1,000 a week in salary
for the last 3 months.
And he was satisfying me.
Was he giving you cash on a daily basis?
No, he was.
He didn't give you any cash.
No,
ever. Not one day did he give you cash.
He gave me cash to go to Pathmark and pick up groceries.
Did he give you cash as a salary?
I have it in writing.
Listen to my question. Did he give you cash at any point in time on any day in the 3 months to pay you for day work that you were doing? No.
No.
Did he catch you taking gasoline you weren't supposed to take?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you are suing for 2 pairs of sneakers. Explain that.
Dirty, filthy, dirty job. When I would, he would ask me to go fill up the empty, fill up.
Open them up. Yeah.
One more thing, Charles. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. Also, he wasn't able to.
Hold on. I'm speaking.
No, hold.
Once it was dark out.
Okay, you stop.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead and finish.
He would ask me to go to a place using my car and fill up the
Okay, I'm sorry. What is it you want? How do you?
They're smelly. I can't wear them. They stink.
I'm gonna take your word on that one.
Because gas would spill on them.
Okay. Because you don't know. Because you're
$49.
Because you're not coordinated. Because I don't understand how your employer would have to pay you for sneakers because you spill gas when you're doing something that, according to you, is worth $1,000 a week.
Dirty, smelly job.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So what do you do in a situation where you can't figure out what somebody who actually did work should get paid?
I think you give a minimum wage.
Oh, that's I never thought of that. That is very interesting. What would you do?
That was actually my answer. She must have overheard me. Minimum wage, at least.
Well, that's a question. Would you do more than minimum wage? I mean, if the person did real valuable work.
I don't even know that I'd give a minimum wage. If it wasn't agreed upon at the beginning of employment, why would they?
But he did the work.
It wasn't agreed upon, though. I mean, fundamentally, some kind of weird.
Well, you're a tough person, aren't you? Wow. Going inside the courtroom.
GPS, $27.14 GPS.
That's because he took my GPS, and I had to go.
Did you take his GPS?
Best Buy. He took it right out of my car.
He had a wire. You know the wire for the GPS?
The what?
The wire, the extension. I said, listen, I need this for my GPS because you don't even, he can't even read a GPS. I said, I'll pay you for the wire because I needed it that day. And I gave him the money for the wire.
How much money did you give him?
It's like $20.
Okay. Car repair, we've been over that. That's over the water thing. Towing fee, what's that? Because of the water thing.
$10 to tow it from his place to my garage.
How do you pay $10 for a tow?
But I just want to show you a couple of...
How do you pay $10 for a tow? The rest of us all want to know.
I have the bill. I have the bill attached.
Who bills you $10 for a tow? Let me see.
Belmore Towing. And that was the next day when they towed my car on a Saturday.
Do you know these folks? How come they charge you only $10? It's wild.
I don't know, just saying.
5 miles, where the subtotal
That's
10.
why.
Total $10.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. You have a counterclaim against him for $650. $120 of stolen gas?
No.
How is it
there's not
100?
just-
I'm sorry, it's not your turn right now.
no
How is
such
it $120 of stolen
Well,
gas?
he stole 4 or 5 gallons, and he actually took 2 of the containers because they didn't fit in his car and put them in the back of his trunk because they were missing. And it had to be him because nobody else. First
But
of all,
how is it $120 of stolen
well,
gas?
I was thinking it's 5 gallons, $4 a gallon. So that's $20 times 6. $120.
But you had said earlier he had taken 1 on that day, and then he got greedy
I
and tried
caught
to
him
top it
taking
off.
the 1, but all the gas was
But you
missing.
didn't turn around to look and see that the other ones were empty
I'm sorry.
when you catch him stealing the 1?
No, I did. I caught it, but I was going to let it all go. I figured that's a good way to get rid of him. You ever see the Bronx Tales with the $20? The same thing. I figured I got rid of him. That was the best thing. I loved it. You know, he's gone. He's
Cash
gone.
for vitamin, but all this stuff like cash for vitamins, he didn't
I
buy.
gave him-
All this was where towards the end.
Yeah,
the
toward the end.
vitamins.
Yeah, when I found out-
$300 for liquor. When did you give him the liquor to return?
The day before I fired him.
Oh, okay. And what about the Pathmark and CVS?
What happened was, I told you, he did Evans for me. He went to Pathmark. You don't laugh on this one.
I'm gonna laugh on that one as opposed to all the other ones?
Barbecue. I asked him to get me barbecue sauce. He says, well, I know a good one. I said, get me a couple. He brings 8 barbecue sauce to my house. I said, what am I gonna do with 8 I live by myself. I don't need 8. So return these. And the thing with the CVS, I gave him stuff to return to CVS because he got the wrong stuff to return, and he kept it all. I guess he returned it and took the money. Or whatever he did with it. I know, please. I know I still have my hair with this guy.
Okay. I'm sure this took a lot of stress off your plate.
Oh,
all right.
God.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. You guys get into this messy arrangement, and then you want me to somehow, with the exactitude that neither of you exercised, be able to decipher your mess into a neat little verdict on each of your sides. And quite frankly, I find that nearly impossible to do because you don't have a lot of evidence to prove what you're saying. No. You don't have a lot of evidence to prove what you're saying, and there's nothing for me to have to do. I've listened to your case. On your case against him, I rule in his favor. On your case against him, I rule in his favor. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Well, here's the plaintiff leaving the courtroom right now. It was a 0-0 verdict. What's your reaction to the outcome, Mr. Shapiro?
I can't believe it. He gave me a 5-gallon can of water. I was out for a week with that car.
Why'd you keep working for him?
I made a mistake. When a white-collar worker is out of work for a long time, they'll take anything, even a ridiculous blue-collar job. And I made a mistake, and she told me, and I admitted it.
You able to get another such job?
No. How could you get a job during a recession? I'm also not 20 years old anymore. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, step on out here. The defendant next. Step in the hallway here and tell me what's your reaction to this outcome here.
I don't know what to say. I really did everything to try to help the guy, and that's why I got me turned.
Nice guy. Finishing last is what you say, but
I needed somebody to stay on with me
Yeah, I
because
know, but-
I was in a stressful moment with my business. I need somebody to do Evans for me.
Listen to this one.
I need Evans done.
Very thin line between being a nice guy and taking advantage of a guy. Thin line.
Yeah, he took advantage of me.
Oh.
Because he wasn't working every day like he was supposed to.
Okay, over to Harvey.
I just kept him.
I'm telling you, when you work for somebody going into this thing, you need to ask, what am I making? How much am I making? Am I getting overtime? You got to establish it at the beginning. If you don't, it will end up badly. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by MGM Plus. From and its horrors returns for season 4, centered around a town that traps all those who enter. Terrifying creatures that come out at night. Horrors some wished had stayed buried, where desperate hope leads to darker truths. Dangerous new arrivals, a sinister figure, a shocking revelation. From season 4 premieres April 19th on MGM Plus. Some doors should remain closed.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
This is the plaintiff, Suzanne Cole. She says she booked the trip of a lifetime through the defendant for herself, her daughter, and granddaughter to go on an African safari, and the trip had some hiccups from the get-go. There was a change of itinerary, which caused them to stay in a small village called Lusaka for 2 nights, and she had to foot the bill for the hotel rooms, missing out on nights already paid for in Zambia. She expected the defendant to reimburse her for her losses, but he hasn't, so she's suing the guy for the $2,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Kenneth. He says the airline changed their itinerary at the very last minute, causing the plaintiff to miss a connection, so they had to spend the night in Lusaka. This was totally out of his hands because he has no control over an African Airlines flight. The plaintiff's a wonderful woman, but this was just one of those unfortunate situations which was out of his control. He's accused of shortening a safari.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff booked an awesome trip through the defendant. It was an African safari, but there were nothing but problems. The defendant says the plaintiff caused her own problems. It's the case of, I had a lawsuit in Africa.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Susan Cole?
Yes.
You are suing. Kenneth, you've asked us to just call you by your first name. Are you the owner of a travel agency?
Yes.
Okay. For $2,000, the cost of an Africa trip that you booked with him that didn't quite turn out the way you'd planned. What happened?
I purchased a trip to Zambia to a wildlife preservation, and we were supposed to have 6 nights at the lodge and 11 safaris. We had 4 nights at the lodge and 7 safaris.
Why?
Because Kenneth informed me about 3 days before we were leaving that the small plane that goes from the city Lusaka to the lodge had changed their schedule, and so that our plane coming in from Johannesburg would not be meeting that, could not meet that plane. Our plane was coming in too late to meet the small
Which airlines
plane.
had changed the schedule?
ProFlight, Your Honor.
And so
It's a local Zambian airline that does only regional flights within Zambia.
So it was flying from where to where?
Lusaka to Mfui. Mfui is where the game lodge is.
Okay. So she was making it from JFK to Johannesburg.
Johannesburg, correct.
And then there was a flight that was taking her from Johannesburg to Lusaka.
Lusaka, and we had intended for an immediate connection to Mfui to get her there on the same day.
Okay.
And on the way back also. That's exactly how it was reserved.
And then what happened?
ProFlight changed their flights from Lusaka to Mfui to back to Lusaka, and they departed before the Johannesburg arrival came in. So there was no way there could be a connect, and they dropped to 1 service per day.
So that she would arrive at Lusaka and she would have to spend 1 night in Lusaka
Correct.
each time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was eating into her 6 days.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, 6 days. Wow, long way to go for 6 days. All right, so the new plan then, once the airlines changed their itinerary, was to have her stay 1 day. You took this trip with the lady next to you?
And my granddaughter.
And there were 3.
Yes.
Oh, what a wonderful trip.
Yes, it was.
Did you pay?
I'm sorry?
Not my business, but I would just like to know why my mother didn't take me and my daughter on a safari. All right. Did you take pictures?
Yes, I have a few.
Can't see.
With my granddaughter staying where we were supposed to stay, surrounded by wild animals.
How cute. How old is she?
7. Well, she was 7 then. She's 8 now.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, those are photos she took.
Very nice. What is this a photo of?
Those are hippos. They're out the window.
Ah, there we go.
When you look out the window, there they were.
Wow. I want to be your granddaughter when I grow up. How was this picture taken?
Oh, is that the leopard?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a leopard like 6 inches from my nose.
Well, that was that was taken from the car that we travel in.
Wow. These are great. The hippo yawning.
She got that too, yes.
What a fabulous trip. So now the new plan that you present is spend the night in Lusaka. What is there to do
Correct. There's nothing to do.
there? Oh my goodness,
There
is that
really
how you
is
told
nothing
her?
to do.
There's nothing to do there?
No. But there's no option. This is the unfortunate
No,
part.
I know, but did you tell her that there was something to do at Lusaka?
Well, there's just markets and a bit of sightseeing to do, but not...
Like what? Sightseeing like what?
Sightseeing of markets and just the city.
And
city
more
sightseeing
markets.
Don't go.
Don't go.
No,
All
really.
right.
I mean, there's...
Okay. Is that how you told her?
I hope not.
Tell me, what was it exactly that he told you?
Well, Ken did say that there was an animal park and there was a market. And so I thought, well, we'll do the best we can with it. And we'll go to the animal park and we'll go to the market. And Ken said, I'll have somebody there to take care of you the whole time. There was nobody. The hotel only knew that we were staying there. And then they knew nothing about where to go, really. Well, as Ken said, there wasn't really much to do. And the animal park was closed.
Closed as in out of business?
Not sure, but closed as far as any time we would be there was concerned.
It wasn't open on either
No, not either end. So they said they recommended the market, which was a sweet place, I have to say. And so we had to pay for our own taxi. The market was far from the motel.
Now, this was an all-expense-paid trip in terms of transportation and meals and all that, right?
That is correct, Your Honor. The original 6-night package, yes, you're absolutely correct.
Right. Let me ask you a question. When you find out that we have the problem and he tells you what it is, you send an email to him where you say, I've spoken to my daughter and she's never seen Lusaka and it's her first time in Africa, so she doesn't mind, I don't mind. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so we're going forward.
Make the best of it.
Right. And I understand that, but if you are approving of the change, then what did he breach that would cause him to have to pay you
We
any
thought
money?
it was going to be sightseeing in Lusaka. We didn't know what Lusaka was, for one thing. And as Ken said, there is nothing to do there. But then, when we were there, I was thinking, the money went to Mafui Lodge.
Mafui Lodge won't return any of the money,
No,
correct?
Your Honor. And the full amount did go, my client is actually, she's quite correct. It had to be paid to them because they arranged the accommodation in Lusaka and they promised that they'd arranged the transfers and clearly they had not. And also the sightseeing. I gave very specific, detailed itinerary for sightseeing.
If they didn't arrange the transfers and they didn't arrange any sightseeing, do you believe that she's entitled to something back?
I do, Your Honor, yes.
And did you pay her anything back?
I did not pay her anything back.
Okay. And what do you think she's entitled to?
I think that she should get, for all of the meals, for all of the transportation, and just, she, in good faith, she booked a 6-night package at a game lodge. She ultimately got 4 nights at the game lodge and meals and safaris, etc. But she was dumped on both sides, sitting in a place you don't want to be at, with nothing, again.
I can't help but notice that you haven't paid her, though. So you think she should be paid by who, Mafui Lodge?
I think she should be paid by Mafui, absolutely, yeah.
Have you continued to do business with Mafui?
No.
So if you were booking an exotic trip to Africa, is it better to do online or through travel agent?
It depends how much your time is worth. I mean, it's...
Well, I'm not even talking about time. I'm saying which is more effective, online or through travel agent?
I'd say travel agent. You have a little more level of protection that way, too.
What do you think?
Travel agent.
Because?
Because it's easier that way.
Well, I think also there's some knowledge too, right? Going inside the courtroom.
Kind of hard to sue them, right?
Well, see, this is why they just shrug their shoulders. It's very difficult to
And you
get
don't pay them
retribution
by
for.
credit card.
No.
Right.
No, it's got to be a wire transfer.
Right.
Very smart.
Yeah.
They won't give anything back. I asked for a barter agreement even. I said, give me free accommodation that I could sell to someone else and
then reimburse her.
Give her.
Right.
They're just not interested, and they know that there's nothing we can do.
And I'm sure that they're saying the same thing that you're saying here. What fault do we have? We were ready, willing, and able to provide the service that we contracted with you. We had a room for her. We had the other guests did go on the thing. Why do we have to reimburse her? This is just one of those things. Okay, so do you have receipts for your meals and transportation?
No, because he said it was going to all be taken care of. And plus
but you knew it wasn't when someone said that'll be X. You knew that you were paying.
Our meals were about $5. I can...
Just curious. Give me
the taxis. You don't get a receipt.
Okay.
You just kind of can't do
Were
it.
they $100 or were they $5?
No, the taxi was about $25 each way. They were expensive, I have to say that.
Yeah.
And the meals were about $5 each. And so it was 9 meals, so that was about $45.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Because the change in airline is not, an airline itinerary is not his fault, I'm not going to order him to return the amount of money that you're asking for. Because you send him an email saying it's perfectly fine, you know, we'll do what we have to do. We have to stay in Lusaka, we have to stay in Lusaka. My daughter hasn't seen it. I'm not going to order him to return a third of the trip cost. Because you were out of pocket certain things that you're not supposed to be out of pocket, I am going to order him to reimburse you those amounts that we just talked about. And you're going to have to pursue them or just eat it. And to be honest with you, you might, I don't know whether you ever offered this to her. Did you ever offer this to her to pay her out of pockets?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, perhaps you should have, because you probably lost a client over a couple $100, and
I know.
yeah, kind of a bad idea. So I am going to assume the back and forth to the market 4 times and some meals, and I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case and the amount that she is out of pocket, not in the actual change, but the amount that she is actually out of pocket from the stay that was supposed to have been covered according to the agreement. So I find in her favor in the amount of $150. And that's a lovely trip. I'm sure that's going to be an amazing memory for your daughter and your granddaughter.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff leaves the courtroom with her pictures, step on in here, and $150 in an award from the judge. What's your reaction to this?
It's a caveat emptor for travelers.
Let the buyer beware.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Well, you still have great
So-
memories, right?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yes.
very good. All right, so come on in here. What's your feeling on this?
I think she deserves to receive restitution.
Yeah, but not from you.
Does. Well, not from me. No, I didn't change the airline schedule, but I do think she should have received something. Absolutely.
Well,
yes.
this can happen, right? It's not that
It
rare,
does.
right?
It's not that rare.
So why
no.
don't you have some sort of a, plan B for them?
A plan B for them?
Yeah,
We
just in
did. We
case.
put the plan B in place. We grabbed Lusaka accommodation on both sides because that was the only thing we could do.
Mm-hmm. Harvey?
This is such a good example where sometimes you got to think, if you want to really fight principle, are you losing in the end, even if you win the lawsuit? In this case, I mean, look, the guy could have paid you could pay a little bit of money to end a lawsuit or to avoid a lawsuit, and in the end, you can keep a customer. Just at a point, you just got to be smart. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
There's no one like you, and there never will be.
From the producer of Bohemian Rhapsody, there are many legends, but there is only one. Michael, rated PG-13, in theaters April 24.
This is a plaintiff, Alan Levinson. He says he bought his dream house on the water 1 week before Hurricane Sandy hit, and his new house was ruined with 6 feet of muck, mold, and garbage brought in by the ocean. He hired the defendant to make the repairs, but then realized the guy didn't know what he was doing and canceled the deal. Now he's having one heck of a time getting the money he gave the guy back, and is suing him here and now for the $3,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Richard Fiducia. He says it was a day before he was about to start work on the plaintiff's house when he received a text saying the plaintiff was having a problem with the price he gave him. He told the guy he already went out and bought the supplies, but the plaintiff didn't care and demanded his money back. He knows the judge will side with him on this case because he's totally in the right, and good always conquers evil. He's accused of charging too much.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff bought his dream house a week later. Hurricane Sandy hit, and he says the defendant did horrible in the repair department. The defendant says the plaintiff was just short on money. It's the case of your work blows like a hurricane.
Okay, Mr. Levinson, you're suing Mr. Fiducia for $3,000, the statutory maximum in your state, for money that you paid him on a contract that you have decided not to go forward on, and you want your money back. Tell me what happened.
On 1023, we purchased a house in Belmont, New Jersey. It was a block from the beach. A week later, it was the beach. We had about 5.5 feet of water in the basement, and the house was in moving condition before we purchased the house, and at this point, it was like, I didn't know what to do.
That had to be so sad. Did you still have your other house?
Yes.
Did you have a contract on your other house?
It was a second home.
Okay.
So it was a beach home, and we weren't going to move in yet. Mr. Fiducia was referred to me from a friend a week before, saying, because I was going to do some bathroom renovation, and then after the hurricane occurred, he was my...
Your priorities were different, and so you went over what you now wanted.
That's correct.
Okay. And what is it that... you two end up signing a contract, and do you have a copy of the contract?
Yes, I do.
All right, so what goes wrong?
The next day, the electrical work began, and the electrical work was to be completed that day, and I had given the defendant the balance of the money for the electrical work, and he assured me that he would not give the check to the electrician, finish paying the electrician, unless all the items that we discussed was completed. I went to the house that Friday, which was the 18th, and discovered that there were some items that weren't completed.
Such as?
3 or 4 outlets weren't changed. All the outlets had to be changed. And then there was an outlet by the furnace that wasn't changed. At that point, I notified Mr. Fiducia that that work wasn't done, and he assured me that it would be done on a later date.
Okay.
The next day was the 17th. I called Mr. Fiducia and told him not to begin the basement work, which he was scheduled to begin on that Monday.
Okay, and so you tell him we're done doing business.
Well, no, I was trying to get my money back.
And what does he say?
He basically said that he spoke with his partner, and they decided they were going to give me $1,500, and then they were going to apply $1,500 to future projects.
Okay. So you say okay and take the $1,500.
That's correct.
And then tell him don't come back.
Correct.
Because you wanted to get the $1,500.
That's
okay.
correct.
What's going on?
I was referred to Mr. Levinson through a friend to do 2 bathroom renovations.
Right.
I had contact.
And the hurricane hits, and then you have
hurricane
to do...
hits,
He
everything
hires you to
goes
do
down
the
the
other stuff.
toilet.
He's unhappy about the electrical. He calls you. Is it true that a bunch of receptacles were left undone?
There were 3 receptacles not done, and because they were not done because in the interim, Mr. Levinson had attempted to take apart the workbench, which he had then hired me to do, and boards were pulled up and covering the outlets. The electrician never saw them.
Can I ask you a question? Are you a licensed contractor?
I am insured, not licensed, because we don't actually do the work. We contract out everything and all the individual
Why does your
contractors.
card say general contractor on it if you're not a general contractor?
Because I am a general contractor. I have all my people under me are
Are you a
licensed.
licensed general contractor?
I'm what?
Are you?
No, I'm not licensed. No.
Why not?
I'm insured.
What happened? Did you
Because
lose
I
your
don't do the
license?
work.
Did it expire? Did it what? Did you never have a license?
I don't have license because I don't do the work.
What makes you a general contractor? Like, in other words, can he just call himself a general contractor now?
If he chooses to delegate all the work to licensed contractors.
Well, you know that's not true. Man, my father's a general contractor. My brother's a general contractor. You and I both know that what you're saying is inaccurate. You can be an interior designer or something else, but I don't know what you could be. I shouldn't say that. I don't get a bunch of letters from interior design. You can come on up.
My other
Come on up. Who's this?
My 50% part of the business is the interior design part.
Okay. Do you have a license?
Yes, I do.
Because
Not
interior
as a general
designers have to have
contractor.
license.
Yes,
They're
yes.
not decorators. They're interior
No,
designers.
correct.
Okay.
I may have
I got it. Okay. Now, but how is your partner here? How are their business cards saying general contractor if he's not licensed to be a general contractor?
Well, in the beginning, when we first started this, when I have had my own business for a long time prior to meeting him, it wasn't a law under the state of New Jersey, then it became a law. So we hire contractors, he supervises the contractors, I pay them on a 1099.
Well, that's all fine if you hold yourself out to be a broker, a sales rep, or something, and then you have your own regs that you have to follow, but you can't hold yourself out to be the general contractor, and then he's hiring you as a general contractor when you're not a general contractor. This is like really bad.
Why would he give me a deposit?
Because you represented that you were a general contractor who knew what he was doing, and as it turns out, you're a guy who's not a general contractor. You're an imposter.
But why would he give me money on a
Because he's a
contract
fool.
that doesn't exist?
Because he's a fool. Because what you should have done is research him to make sure he was a general contractor.
Absolutely.
And asked to make sure that he was licensed and bonded. And the guy says he's insured. She's insured. He's not insured. Okay? And so if he's insured, then I want his insurance number on the card.
We do have
I want to know
insurance.
all that stuff.
We are insured.
Yeah, we are insured. I want to see your insurance papers. I want to see how you're insured to be a general contractor. Yeah, I'm not going to see that, am I? Okay, we'll go through the exercise.
So if a business card says general contractor, is it deceptive if they're not licensed?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because if you're using someone, isn't it your responsibility to do your research on them and see if they're licensed or not?
You asked a question, but what you really did was you made a good argument. Good for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Going inside the courtroom.
Oh, look at that. A policy for the business whose name you don't want me to use. That's what it is.
Right.
You are not insured. The business is insured. The only license under that business is hers. You are unlicensed and cannot have business cards that say you're a general contractor. First thing you got to do after you walk out of here is toss all the business cards. Because if you go out and get any more business and that person watches people's court, and the chances are they do, okay? You're going to be in real trouble. It's already considered a deceptive practice, what you're doing. And the remedy is you can't keep any money. That's the remedy. All right. The only money that you can keep is work you already did. So let's go over the math. Tell me how you get to your math, because I'm having trouble understanding it. Yeah. So what you put here was the $3,900 for the basement remediation and the retainer. That
Correct.
is okay. So that's $4,900, and then you're willing to subtract from that the $250, which you agree he earned in the stair removal, the $150 in the workbench removal, and the $1,500 that he's already returned to you, and that leaves $3,000, which he is right, you cannot keep if you are not a general contractor. That's actually what the law says.
Even the retainer?
Nothing. You can keep nothing. If you're not entitled to call your...
From the design firm, not...
He sent me a text message agreeing to keep the retainer.
It doesn't matter. I know what he said. He also, not only that, he also told you if you give me $1,500, okay, we'll do it your way.
Right.
And some might call that a settlement. But let me tell you who isn't going to call it that. A judge who's in charge of making sure that public policy doesn't get violated. Because that statute, according to every case in New Jersey, trumps everything else. This is really important. You can't keep anything, other than he can't get enriched. That's what you call quantum merit under the law. The amount, he can't you're not licensed, I got a free house. So the stuff that you guys did, you are getting paid for. There's no question that he doesn't get that back. He's not even asking for that back. The stuff you can't keep is anything that you got by lying and saying you were a general contractor. And I can't believe that I'm spending this much time on it. $3,000 verdict for the plaintiff.
A little lesson in the law for the defendant. Come on over here and tell me what's your reaction to the verdict, and you understand why she's giving it to you the way she is. Yeah.
I understand what she said, but she spent many hours designing and working with the wife, and she did not get paid. That was the retainer.
And
they gave the retainer back. So she spent 3 weeks getting no money, no pay.
Okay. Well, what do you do now? If you want to be a GC,
go get registered.
And you're in the process of doing that?
Yes, we are.
That's what you're going to eventually.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all in the process.
All right.
In the waiting process.
All right. All right. Head right down this way, and good luck to you. And come on in here. Your feeling on the outcome of this?
Be careful who friends refer. Do your due diligence.
Yeah. Were you a little desperate after scared, nervous, whatever?
The radar was down because he was referred by a friend. So
also the storm had hit, right?
A state of shock.
Right.
State of shock. I was in a state of shock, couldn't believe it, and actually heat was restored to the house about 4 days ago. So
all right. So next time you'll do your research.
Due diligence and watch who, even a referral, watch what you do.
Harvey?
If you got significant work at your home, do not hire anybody but a licensed contractor. Usually they have a bond, and that really protects you.